Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by
Anthony Galati.
And
as always, Stephen Bagliacca. Hi.
Hey, everybody.
I want an as always.
Well, too fucking bad.
You could have said it.
I know.
Yeah, you had the option.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Then I would have had to be on my feet and change it, and I would have had something else. I would have said with you currently.
I wish I was as prepared as you.
You have no notes.
I have some notes.
No notes that matter.
My dog has no nose. You're supposed to say, how does he smell?
How does he smell?
Awful.
Wasn't that the Hitler joke in Monty Python?
Yes.
So,
Is that the joke that causes everyone to die?
It's the Germans. The Germans counter.
Yes.
It doesn't go as well.
Yes.
Hi guys, we're back.
So we're covering a sports movie.
Yeah.
Which obviously this is in my wheelhouse because I think it's safe to say of the three of us, I'm the sports guy. I'm a sports fan.
That is overly safe to say, actually. Like you are the sportsman.
One of us actively dislikes sports.
I am expecting you to carry this one a little bit.
You're gonna have to.
You're gonna have more weight on your shoulders than usual.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I am ill prepared for this. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. I'd like to give a thank you to Tell Steve Dave, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
The Jackie Robinson story.
So 42.
42. Mm-hmm. Yes, I have a title for this.
What's your title?
Well, from now on, I'm going to give you an AKA for every movie that we do. If you haven't noticed, no, you're not prepared. AKA, please give us an Oscar for using the hard R.
I would call AKA the guy from Firefly drops more N-bombs than David Duke.
All right, you beat me. That was good.
So, did you know why it was called 42 when you started it?
No.
You knew.
I did not. I'm not very well versed in sports at all. I never have been, as you know. So it made sense later on. Obviously, I was like, oh, that's his number. I legit was going into this because you were like, it's a sports movie. I'm like, oh, he hit 42 home runs. This is gonna be great.
That's when we watched 61.
Is 42 a good number of home runs? That's not a lot, right?
That's a very successful season.
Is it?
Season.
Yeah.
Oh, so I wasn't too far off from like thinking that.
I know Barry Bonds has the current record with which is 76.
I didn't even
know that. That's a lot of home runs.
Barry Bonds has the most home runs overall of his career and in a single season. Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player of all time.
That's so many home runs.
That's a lofty title to give someone.
Yes.
Better than Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb is quite good, but I consider Barry Bonds to be the greatest hitter of all time. He's the only player to have 500 home runs and 500 steals. He was also a Gold Glover every single season in his career.
So he was superhuman. He was he wasn't human.
Yeah. Now some would say that maybe he took some medicine that made him better, but whatever. I don't care about that.
But if you're not doing it, you're not trying to win, right?
Exactly.
You have no problem with the roids.
I am pro steroids in sports.
Pro,
100%.
So you want monster men swinging bats?
Yeah.
Why would I not want my athletes to be performing as best as they humanly could?
You don't think it's cheating?
No, I think it's an option available to every player, and they can choose to take it or not, like nutrition, diet, everything. Those are their options
hormones.
available.
Yeah, but nutrition and diet doesn't leave your body racked with problems later in life.
But that's the sacrifice they're making for the sport. And I can understand the case against it for something like mixed martial arts or football or even hockey where there's heavy contact. Mm-hmm. But for something like basketball or baseball where they're not really contact sports.
The one constant through the years has been baseball.
All right, Cisco.
No, that's not Cisco.
That's not?
It's James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were doing the opening of DS9.
That's the sports movie I know.
Okay.
Field of Dreams. Because it has ghosts.
Brian, would you consider your knowledge of sports history on par with Ant's knowledge of regular history? I feel like it is.
No, I'm not.
No?
He knows more. He knows more about regular history than I do about sports history. I think if you took collectively all my bullshit and put it together, I can probably equal his regular history.
Of bullshit.
Because
I'm also full of bullshit.
But it's like he knows a lot about real history, and I think if you took my sports, comics, movies, all that shit together, I think I could equal his regular history.
Okay.
But this is a baseball movie.
Yes, but it is also a historical movie.
It is.
This is a pivotal moment in U.S. history, kind of.
It is a big turning point.
I think so.
And as I mentioned on our last episode, Jackie Robinson is one of the sainted figures in American history.
You did say that.
Yeah.
You never really hear anything bad about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's portrayed as this like sweet, gentle guy who just went through hell and changed the world.
In this movie.
In your opinion, now going back to that conversation we were having last time, is there a dark side to the Jackie Robinson story? Because it's certainly not in this movie.
It's not here, yeah.
It's not in this movie, but like some people they get upset at one scene in the movie, and we'll talk about it later. But
Is it the bat breaking?
It is the bat breaking scene. That is a point of contention for many people, and the real Jackie Robinson story does not end as well as it does in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is kind of like an idolized version in this movie?
Yes.
Idealized, yeah.
Now, I do want to say before we start that I got a bone to pick with Jackie Robinson.
Really?
Oh, shit.
I do not like Jackie Robinson.
Really?
It seems like you would be the only person in America based on this movie.
I think he's a fraud.
Whoa.
Whoa! This is a hot take.
This is tea. This is hot tea.
Yeah. So Jackie Robinson is not the first black baseball player to play with white men.
Well, no, obviously not. I mean,
Are we talking professionally?
Professionally, he is not the first one.
Who is?
Sandy Koufax?
No, Sandy Koufax is Jewish.
Who am I thinking of? The pitcher from the Negro Leagues.
Your thing is Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige is after. So the first black person to play baseball with white people.
Professionally now.
Professionally.
In the major leagues.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm not sure about the major leagues. I don't know the exact team, but he was the first.
Yeah, but if somebody's a flash in the pan
I
guy, who cares if he's the first? It's not the fact that he was the first. The first that he broke the barrier and opened the door to real integration.
He is the first black man to play Major League Baseball. This man.
Oh.
His name is Moses Fleetwood Walker.
He's kind of an
I've heard this
He's
name.
an unsung.
I've mentioned him before.
Yeah,
He's an
you have.
unsung hero.
He is the first person, and he did it in he was born in 1856, and he played with white people in 1884.
Damn.
What team?
He played on the Toledo Blue Stockings in Double-A ball, and he went on to play in another team, which Chicago White Stockings, which I think we can all guess what team they became. Of course, the Florida Marlins.
May I make a historical comparison?
Yes.
This is like you making a big to-do about the Vikings landing in Newfoundland when Columbus is the one who opened it.
I don't know. This sounds like it would have taken more balls to play baseball in the 1880s, you said?
Balls is irrelevant. It's what impact did he have? Look, the guy may have played, but it did nothing for anybody.
Well, was he good? That's the thing. Was he really
know.
good? I don't know. But we know that this man, Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson is the guy.
Jackie Robinson is a better player.
Right.
I will just say I don't like that he's getting the credit that
As the first.
when he is not the first.
He's the one that matters.
He's the one that matters, and he broke the color barrier, and he's obviously important, and he's a better player than Moses Fleetwood Walker. But I don't think it's fair to Moses that he's
just forgotten.
He's completely forgotten and erased when he did it first.
It's the Leif Erikson syndrome.
He's the Leif Erikson of
Brian
baseball.
pulling a Leif Erikson here.
You know, I just don't. I don't want.
Leif landed first. Whatever. He didn't do anything with it. We don't care.
I don't want Moses erased. You know, no one knows that this fucking guy even exists.
How did you hear about it?
Not making macaroni pictures, and he came to him in a dream.
I desire.
So,
Little South Park reference for those.
so I first heard about him. There's a movie called Little Big League. Have you ever heard of this movie?
Yes, I have. This is a 90s kids movie.
Yes, it is. Would you like to explain the plot of Little Big League?
I've never seen it.
Okay. It was like a Channel 11 Sunday movie that would run a lot. And basically the plot of the movie is that this kid's grandfather owns the Cubs. And when he dies, he says that my son is now the GM and manager of the team.
Oh my God.
His like child, and an 11-year-old is manager of the Minnesota Twins.
Yep, that sounds like a 90s kids
And
movie.
he has encyclopedic knowledge of baseball and the kid because his grandfather has tested him his whole life. And his grandfather early in the movie asks him, who was the first black player in Major League Baseball? And obviously the kid goes, you want me to say Jackie Robinson, but it's actually Moses Fleetwood Walker. And I heard this, and I was like, head exploded.
His mind was blown.
Yeah, like I was like, everything I know is a lie. Like I was just burning
Brian's life
sports
changed
books in
on a
my
Sunday
room.
afternoon.
Like I had pictures of Jackie Robinson in my room. I started burning them.
He's a fraud.
Anarchy, no false idols. So that's my first bone to pick with Jackie Robinson.
There's more than one.
Yeah. Oh, the other one is this second one is deeper to my heart. And it bothers me on a moral and a personal
Mind you,
level.
Brian doesn't play baseball.
And it's a blight to my eyes. This is not his skin color, because I said blight to the eyes. And I saw that look you gave me, Ant.
Ant got an erection again.
Yeah.
What? Jesus Christ.
So, I'm a Mets fan.
Oh, okay. I already know where this is going.
All right.
I don't know where this is going. 'Cause
You don't know.
Without the Dodgers leaving, there are no Mets.
I'm trust me, happy about that. If the Giants didn't leave New York, I probably would have ended up a Giants fan. Mm-hmm. But regardless, in the Mets stadium, which is Citi Field, it's a beautiful stadium. If you've never been, I recommend checking it out. They have really good food options. Great place to catch a baseball game and hang out with your friends. There is one thing in the stadium.
Why was that so odd?
because after, by the way, this podcast is presented to you by.
Okay.
So,
Hang out with your friends.
Have a grand old time. Nice cold.
by the way, when
beer.
you're buying Mets tickets, make sure you put in reviewing history as a promo code.
You get a free beer and a dog on Citibank.
All right. So when the Mets built this new arena, new stadium, which by
2009?
2009 is the year it opened, yes. Which obviously I still wish we had Shea. I prefer Shea. As nice as this stadium is, Shea is near and dear to my heart. But when this stadium was opened, the old owners of the Mets, the Wilpons, had a hard-on for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Because the Mets are like the spiritual successor of the Brooklyn Dodgers.
They are, but at the same one thing about the Mets is they're a combination of all the New York teams. They have pinstripes in honor of the Yankees. They have the orange in their name because of the Giants, and they have the blue for the Dodgers. And they're an amalgamation of all the New York teams, and they represent, New York baseball. That's like their pitch.
From Jersey.
No, they're in Queens.
It was a joke.
I think when the Mets came into being, weren't they trying to just get as many of the old Giants and Dodgers fans that were just left dejected after Branch Rickey betrayed them?
Yes, so they wanted it. It's actually O'Malley, not Branch Rickey.
Branch Rickey's the guy who moved them.
I thought it's O'Malley.
I watched the Ken Burns doc. I'm pretty sure it's Branch
You
Rickey.
love a good Ken Burns.
I'm not. I will defer to you, but I'm almost positive Branch Rickey is behind the move to Los Angeles.
If Ken Burns said it, it must be true.
It's Walter O'Malley.
Okay, I defer to Brain. Brain was correct. I've been put in my fucking place.
Mind your fucking P's and Q's when I'm talking sports, bitch.
Tell Ken Burns.
Tell Ken Burns and his shit haircut to come see me.
He does have the worst haircut in America.
It's so bad.
Is it a wig?
Why would you have such a shit wig?
Yeah, good point.
You could have any haircut. You pick that?
He's just a big Mo Howard fan.
He's just always poking people in the eyes and shit.
Wise guy, eh? Come here, you mug.
Maybe he's a Shemp man.
Oh, the Civil War.
Nazi onion.
Hey. That's my Larry.
That's pretty good, Larry.
That's good.
Do all men just love the Stooges?
Stooges rule.
All right. So anyway, the Mets old owners, the Wilpons, have, and they're like the third or fourth owners of the team. They have an insane hard-on for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And when they built the new stadium, they tried to make it look like Ebbets Field. They put the seat colors. They tried to make it look like Ebbets Field.
Blue.
It's
also the Mets color.
No, it's green actually.
Oh, that was what Ebbets Field had?
I believe so. That's what I've been told. It's all black and white images and
From the 50s.
From the 50s, and it's hearsay. But they put in something that I absolutely despise.
What's that?
Now, bear in mind, the Dodgers still exist.
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. They put a monument to the Brooklyn Dodgers in the form of Jackie Robinson in the middle of the Mets Stadium.
Why do you use that ball?
How dare they?
And it's called the Jackie Robinson Rotunda. The guy was never a Met.
He was in a Met.
He was never a Met. His number is already retired, and I'm totally fine with that, and I think it's an acceptable thing. And I think it should be.
His number's retired through all of baseball.
All of baseball. Do you know who the last player to wear his jersey number was?
Mariano Rivera.
Oh, I thought I was going to get you. I am impressed.
Thank you.
You're a true blue Yankee fan.
Not really, but
Who's their starting first baseman right now?
right now I have no fucking clue.
I don't know either. Can you name one current Yankee?
Current?
Current.
I think the last time I knew Yankees was like CC Sabathia. So when was that?
I think he retired like maybe 3-4 years ago.
Jabba Chamberlain. So we're going back like 10 years.
Yeah,
now.
Job is a while ago.
I don't know a single Yankee right now.
Can't name one.
Can't name one.
Aaron Judge.
I've heard that name. I have heard that name.
He's the Yankee right now.
Is
Okay.
A-Rod still playing for him?
No.
No, he's an announcer.
A-Rod is knuckle deep in J-Lo's asshole.
No, he's not.
He's not?
No, Ben Affleck is back up in that thing.
Oh, you're right.
There's enough for all.
Do you think Ben Affleck gets a certain? that's a funny joke. Do you think Ben Affleck gets a certain satisfaction that he like took that ass from a Yankee because he's a Red Sox fan?
It's not the ass it used to be, but it's still good.
But do you think he's like, I took it from a Yankee and I'm a Sox fan?
Well, didn't he have it
He had
first anyway? Yeah.
first.
But he got it back.
Sure, yeah, I guess.
So I don't like the Rotunda because it's a monument to another team that hasn't been around by the time the stadium was built in fucking when
2009.
they left in 1957. So it's like
People that were alive for that are dwindling.
it's like I have no fucking love for the Dodgers. They're across the country.
Yeah.
Like, and I have to deal with a monument to the Dodgers in my own stadium.
But is it a monument to the Dodgers or a monument to Jackie Robinson personally? It's a statue of him.
No, it's the number 42.
That's him.
And
That's
there's
not them.
But there's pictures of him all over. He was never a Met. Like,
I get that.
Like you could make a case for this in every stadium then.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a cultural significance beyond the team he was on, obviously.
But that's why his number's retired.
That's enough.
You could have put a Tom Seaver thing in there. You could have put a Mike Piazza thing for 9/11. You could have put anything with the Mets history. And we have to have a monument to another player in the stadium.
Okay.
And it just bothers me on a moral level.
I definitely see how that could be annoying.
Yeah, I really thought you were going to go the racist route, so I'm okay.
No. Again, I am totally cool with having his number honored. I'm even cool with a statue outside the stadium in like the parking lot when you're walking in.
It's just in the
It's
stadium.
in the stadium?
So you walk in, you go through security, you get your ticket checked, and you walk in, and there's a giant 42 in the middle of like this atrium. And there's like pictures of him in like all his LA and all his Brooklyn Dodgers shit. And it's like the man was never a Met. Like, and
well, isn't it just the location significance of it?
it's not even the same borough. The Mets playing Queens.
It's the same city, though. Right? Like, it's the same city.
Yeah, as long as we're
So-
talking about Jackie Robinson statues, I found out that I believe it's Flatbush, where Ebbets Field used to be, there is a baseball field right now that has a statue of a moment from this movie where, what's his name? The captain of the Dodgers, Brian.
in what?
In the movie.
Oh, Pee Wee Reese.
Pee Wee Reese puts his arm around him in that game. They have a statue of that moment in Flatbush today. It's like an iconic moment.
Yeah, so it's like, I get why he would be angry at this, but it's just the location relevance of it. That's all. It's just this is a city thing. That's all.
Sure.
I wouldn't read too much into it.
Sports fans get very...
They're touchy. They're touchy people.
They
are.
They get very passionate about things that we would consider to be minutia.
It's
Yes.
it's tribalism and it's trivial. And like obviously I'm a superstitious bastard, so I believe that having a monument to another team in your stadium curses you. And I will say this. There is a Tom Seaver statue now outside the stadium. But to me, it's like when they built this, they should have just put the 42 outside.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let's hypothetical situation. In Los Angeles, they build a new stadium. They put a
Piazza.
Reggie Jackson statue in the stadium. Do you consider this to be the Yankees conquering Los Angeles like warlords? Their symbol.
Well, he was never a Dodger, but he was a California Angel.
All right, I picked the wrong guy. David Cross. What's his? Not David Cross. Jesus Christ.
Isn't David Cross a comedian?
Yeah, David Cross was in Small Soldiers. David, the Met. The Met, we met in
David Wright.
David Wright. We met him in a diner.
Yeah.
We met him in a diner down the block from us.
Yeah.
It was weird.
His statue is there. Is that the Mets conquering Los Angeles? Do they own it now?
Definitely. They put
It's a symbol of their dominance.
Yes. It's like the Charles Gordon statue in cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, it's there, and you know why it's there. You know? You don't put, like, the Jets would never build a statue of Tom Brady in their fucking stadium.
Right.
Never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never, whatever.
So, those are my two personal bones to pick with Jackie Robinson. Though I shouldn't get as mad. You know, neither are his fault. I'm working through some stuff today.
Did you realize the error of your ways?
No, I'm still mad about the Rotunda.
Anyway, now that we've gone through all that, let's talk about 42.
The movie. Oh, yeah, we're talking about a movie.
So the movie starts with narration saying that there were 400 white players, and at the start of this season, it will go down to 399 whites.
It's
And Brian threw a baseball through the TV. Why? Inaccuracy!
That actually is slightly inaccurate.
Told you.
Why?
Because, well, in the movie, they act like no African Americans or blacks came up that season, when in fact other teams actually brought up black players that season. And
In the minors?
When Jackie Robinson is in the major leagues, like a couple of like weeks or months later, like there's like a black dude on like the Indians. And
Wait a minute. What are you telling me here? Was the fucking league integrated or wasn't it?
It's integrated way quicker than you would believe. And in fact, the Dodgers have a second black guy on the team.
So this whole legend is not real?
He's the first.
He had a bone to pick, and he's picking it.
He is the first 100. He's the first to break the color barriers after it was instituted, after Moses. But yeah, like that season, Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier. He goes through like a lot of shit like in the movie, but there were other black players in the league that
at the same time.
At the same time. Yep.
Okay.
Seeing the settings and whoever, first off, I have
Who's
to.
the director of this?
I don't know. I was going to say the director did a good job.
A lot of this reminded me of like Spielbergian stuff. There's a lot of whimsical music that I thought was cheesy and out of place.
I like the music here. I think it was fitting.
I found the soundtrack of this movie to be slightly distracting.
Whoever was behind the costumes did a fantastic job.
Oh, agreed. Yeah,
I gotta say, we have to bring back leisure suits. We have to bring back leisure suits, and we have to bring back really big hats because, like, I'm looking at this. I'm like, they look so great. They look so classy.
I wish we lived in the hat society. Now I can't wear hats. We've discussed this already.
You've tried it.
Yes,
You've tried the fedora.
But
I got to respect you for trying.
If we did, I feel like I could get away with some things.
Hats suck nowadays.
Hats do suck now.
You know, like
the baseball cap sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this movie. We're watching baseball games. Nobody's wearing a baseball cap except the player.
Because it's like it just keeps the sun out of your
For whatever
eyes.
reason, adult men in the 30s and 40s felt like they didn't need to dress up like the heroes. They didn't cosplay as the players on the field. They still dressed like adults.
Wow, that's actually like I never thought of it like that. That's actually weird.
Well, you basically always wear a suit, right? Like you don't even wear a T-shirt.
Right.
Leisure suit. They were comfortable suits.
Merchandise hasn't really been sold yet. I do have a list of the black players in Major League Baseball by order.
Okay, let's hear this. Let's figure this out.
So I'm going to go, and we're only going to do the 47 season because obviously beyond that, you know, it keeps going. But this is in Jackie Robinson's rookie year. Jackie Robinson, April 15th, 1947. Larry Doby, Cleveland Indians, now the Cleveland Guardians, July 5th, 1947.
I'm going to pause you there.
Yep.
3 months.
Guy is on a professional team the same time Jackie Robinson is.
3 months.
3 months later.
Yes.
In the same season.
Yes.
Same season.
And he gets no recognition.
Not in the public. He is in the Hall of Fame.
What the fuck? This is blowing my mind.
Yep. Then
That's why I don't take sports seriously.
the St. Louis Browns have 2 that come up in July as well.
I had no idea about any of this.
The Brooklyn Dodgers have another one come up August 26, 1947.
Who?
His name is Dan Bankhead.
This is all less than 6 months.
in the same season.
Yeah, same season.
Yep. And he is the last person, last black player to come up in the 1947 season.
So how many were there?
You have, counting Jackie Robinson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So Jackie
5.
Robinson does it, and it's like all the other owners are like, well, we can do this now, so let's get some good talent.
Yes.
Or they saw like
I mean, at least
this guy's doing
there's
good.
5 players that break through on 2 teams.
Was it possible
Three
they
teams,
saw
sorry.
him doing good
Now
and
we
were
can-
like, we can get them?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, right? Like
They all know, like the Negro Leagues are real and they're a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody can see how, these great players that are just not being used.
They have talent.
Yeah.
yeah.
You have to assume that all of these other guys are dealing with the same trials and tribulations, from their fellow players, from the fans,
Mm-hmm.
from everything else.
Same
as
exact
Jackie
thing.
Robinson.
Depending on where they were, it might have been worse, possibly.
Sure. I mean,
You don't want to be in Philly.
yeah. Apparently, Philly is spelled.
Well, let's wait.
R.
Yeah.
Oof. Philly's a problem.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
what a good scene though.
So Jackie Robinson opens the door,
Yeah.
and a couple months later, the league has changed,
These guys need recognition.
and they're
They're
just
dealing
buried.
with the same stuff.
Now, you never thought this, right?
I assumed my whole life, because this is part of like
American myth
This is
making.
American
Yeah.
myth making. Like we hear about this as children, and I assumed Jackie Robinson, he broke the color barrier, opened the door to all of these people and all these players, and in doing so, led to eventually the end of segregation.
Yep.
And that is the mythos, and that is the legend. You don't think that there are other people in the same exact boat as him, essentially,
Yeah.
that are going through the same stuff. Wow.
And I think
These guys, we should not, like, obviously, I don't know, what do you do?
Well, the first guy through the door always catches the most shit, right? He takes all the bullets.
But I'm sure these guys taking the same bullets.
They are.
They're not getting, the posthumous praise.
Well, he played in New York.
It's New York.
He's on the second biggest team, the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Right.
They're fabled. You have all these boomers and grandparents that still talk about them and love them, despite them not being in New York. My fucking father-in-law has this torch for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
What was he, 2 years old when they left?
He wasn't alive. He wasn't alive when they were around, I don't think. Or they left before he knew before he could stop shitting himself. It's and he has this torch for the Dodgers and he talks about them and he hates Walter O'Malley. I'm like, and me and his son were like, why? You don't care, you're a Mets fan.
But when it was a game, huh?
Yeah, and
yeah, right? Like
You hear the Frank Sinatra song? There was a ballpark here. How does this movie start? We still haven't started the movie.
Oh no, we did because the movie itself, and to quote Brian, he's seen it before and forgot that he
so
saw
I wanted
it.
to ask you. I wanted to ask you guys, what did you think of the movie?
Well, we do that at the end.
No,
right?
usually we do it at the beginning.
I gotta tell you. So the way we record these episodes is we do 3 at a time, and we get told a quota of movies that we have to watch. And this was the one I was not excited to watch because I didn't think I would be that interested in the topic, but I ended up enjoying the movie quite a bit. I liked it. It is a bit cheesy at times. It's a little melodramatic.
Oh yeah,
But it is a well-made, fun movie.
inspirational.
It is inspirational. So yeah, I liked it.
What did you think, Steve?
Just as boring as watching a baseball game.
You didn't like it.
No, I think nothing happened in the movie that was worth note.
What do you mean?
I'm not even kidding. Like, Don't get me wrong, it was inspirational.
I mean, it's a change in American society in a microcosm, you know?
Yeah, but I wanted the story of his life, right? And what I got was the story of him going from different places and having trouble being allowed to play, but then playing and being worshipped for it. They showed no struggle that this man went through.
I would disagree with that.
Not really.
I think the whole thing is showing his struggle.
No, like when I think of struggle, maybe I should rephrase it a little bit.
You're talking about his success on the field?
His success on the field was his success. Off the field, he did have some troubles, but nothing bad happened to this man. This man was never abused. He was never arrested. He was nothing.
Oh, I'll agree with you there.
Nothing happened.
He's
to
verbally
him.
abused.
He's verbally abused, but he overcomes it, and that's the only abuse he takes throughout the movie is being verbally abused.
He gets stepped on. He gets,
right.
He gets beaned.
Yeah.
He gets
He puts
beamed,
up with shit.
And there's a potential for bad shit.
Yes.
There is, but not like. It never hits a point where I'm like, oh my God,
he's never in danger.
I can't believe he overcame that. I go, oh wow, he's playing baseball.
Yes.
Great.
But that's the story. It's not a lie.
I expected
and in
more.
Doing so, it is impactful.
I expected more stuff that happened to him.
Just because the trials and tribulations aren't, violent or whatever doesn't mean it's not an important story.
I did not say that. I did not say it was not important.
I think it takes a special person to be able to go through what he did.
Yes.
It's very difficult.
Sure, of course. I just think it was compare it to the other movies that we've thrown on this show. Mm-hmm. This is definitely underwhelming when it comes to the trials and tribulations of a person. Think of I'll put Khartoum out there for a moment.
What he's putting up with,
it's hard.
It's not.
I'm not underplaying it. I'm saying for the quality that we put out, it's not. It was just a little boring. That's all.
It's not Sitting Bull watching the destruction of his race.
It's not. Yeah. It's not.
Guy, it's a guy taking some shit for the greater good.
Taking a shit for and it has its place, and it's an inspirational story. It definitely let me see baseball in a different light because as growing up, I really didn't care for it that much and didn't understand the history and the impact that it actually does have on a society, which it did have a huge impact. But I'm not going to be like, wow, that was an amazing movie. Like, Brian forgot that he saw it.
So that's what I wanted to say. Like, I like this movie. And, I thought I hadn't seen it. And as I'm watching, I was like, oh, I remember this. And by the end, I was like, oh, yeah, I saw this movie. And I had completely forgotten I've seen it.
So, it's not a great movie.
It's not a great movie. It's a totally fine, good, well-made movie with, emotional moments.
Yes.
I found myself getting choked up at times.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm a sucker for sports inspirational shit, so it got me in the sweet spot.
Yeah. When they were hugging on the field, that got you? That
got me a little.
I like that. I like that part.
There's a couple of moments that, there's emotional, strong moments, and then there's other moments where you groan at how silly it is.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
and we will talk about that.
I like a couple of scenes that I want to bring up.
So let's dive in. Harrison Ford is Branch Rickey.
Oh my God.
What did you think of Harrison?
He is fucking awful. He is so weird. He may have delivered every line like this.
How do you think you're playing?
What the fuck was he doing?
You gotta be calm.
Harrison Ford
is not a good actor. He's not.
Was he ever a good actor?
No.
He was just a presence, right?
Maybe.
He's a great leading man. He's a cool guy. Is he a good actor? No, he's never delivered a good role in his life. We've gotten fucking... His best one is Indiana Jones, and what does that require, really?
Groaning.
Be cool.
Groaning.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Get off my plane.
He's delivering that the same way, only with the baseball.
Yeah.
You gotta be nice.
I don't want you to get in any fights.
They're gonna test you.
Anyway, I'm gonna compare you to Jesus Christ several times throughout this movie.
I'm a Methodist.
I did like that line. I really liked that line. I'll admit it.
Wait, so I did like the line, dollars are green.
Yes.
And he lets you know exactly why he's doing it, right?
Dollar, we want those Negro dollars.
Yeah.
But doesn't hide that from Jackie either, and Jackie agrees. And I think I liked it.
I like that they
part.
didn't portray him, because the easy route to go is that like Branch Rickey is such an honorable man,
Sainthood.
that it's like, I need to do this to change society, like to help.
They play both sides. They make him God, and then they make him a capitalist at the same time.
God is a capitalist.
Capitalists are God.
God is a capitalist.
They try to have the cake and eat it.
Yeah. That's kind of like. I feel like if they just made him a capitalist, it actually plays better.
Agreed.
And that's kind of one of the things.
I don't know what the real guy was like per se on this particular issue, but pick one and make it the real one. Whichever side of that he fell on, show it. You know. But they did both, and it didn't really make sense.
Yeah, because even it seems like the character of Jackie in the movie was confused too. He's like, "Why are you doing this?"
He asked him several times.
Yeah, he's like, "Why are you doing
Branch
this?"
Rickey
And
just
he
gives
doesn't
him
give a good
cryptic,
answer.
weird
Yeah.
answers. Like,
Sometimes he gives him an answer.
in the future.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Force?
I've been from one side of this country to the other. I've seen a lot of strange things. But I ain't seen nothing that make me believe that there's some unknowing thing.
And Jackie's like, "What?"
It's true. All of it. Jackie, steal home.
I want you to run. I want you to be like the devil himself. But don't be like the devil. The devil's bad.
Ben Wilkinson, come over here.
Harrison Ford fucking stinks.
But isn't he awesome?
Yeah.
You can't help but love him. He's like your lovable grandparent. So he's doing this straight for the green. Jackie,
Is he?
Jackie
We
Rob.
got to talk about the gas station scene right in the beginning.
Oh, the gas man?
Yeah.
Again, capitalism is solving the problem.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Is Jackie Robinson in charge of everyone? Is he the manager of the bus? Because okay, so there's a gas station. The bus pulls in with this Negro League team. Jackie Robinson is on the bus. And they start filling up their tank.
Yep.
And he goes to take a leak. And this is in the South. It's in Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, in the movie. And the gas station attendant goes, "Come on, man. You know you can't go in there."
He's trying to go into the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jackie Robinson, I guess, takes charge of everyone's life.
We ain't filling up here.
Yeah.
We're out.
I guess we'll just run out of gas then.
Yeah. In the middle of Alabama.
Take the pump out.
Yeah.
And he
You don't want 100 gallons of gas here.
right. He makes the guy let him go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Capitalism solves it.
It's a good scene, but I don't think that the people on the bus would have appreciated him ruining their entire trip for the sake of him taking a piss where he wants to take a piss. You know, they could do it on the side of the road. They've all been living in this society for their entire lives. It's not something new that they're all going to get very angry about at that particular moment. You know, it's like, come on, man, we know how society is.
I think the point
We
of
live
that
in a
is,
society.
the point of that is to show there's a transition.
It's
though,
for the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say that is kind of in Jackie's MO, because in the movie and in real life he was court-martialed because he was he did serve in the war in World War II, and he refused to sit in the back of the bus, and he was eventually court-martialed for it, and he ended up getting an honorable discharge. He was
This is the man we need. There's a problem with authority.
So then we find
I want to bring this up real quick. I read that part of what made the integration possible at this particular moment was the former commissioner of baseball, was the first commissioner of baseball ever. I have his name. Do you know what it is, Brain, off the top of your head?
first commissioner of baseball.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ, that's a real name?
Kennesaw Mountain Landis. He was a judge. This is the guy that they
Here
put
comes the judge.
they
Here
put
comes
in
the
place
judge.
after the Black Sox scandal with Arnold Rothstein.
That's a great name. Jesus Christ.
He was apparently a brutal racist who did not want integration to happen.
Oh.
And they had to wait for him to die before this was even possible. So he died in 1944. So, and I guess Branch Rickey probably wanted the war to end before he started making waves. So now it's 1946, 47. Let's make this happen. Let's do it now. So yeah, just wanted to
Okay.
give a little context
Interesting.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that detail. So then we find out that I'm a Methodist. God's a Methodist. He's a Methodist. What does a Methodist believe?
Believes in greenbacks.
Oh my God, you're really hitting me with something I haven't looked up.
I figured you would know.
Methodism is a popular religion in the United States. It is a form of Protestant Christian
And a form of
Christianity. Methodist acting.
Which is what
Daniel Day-Lewis is a Methodist actor. Robert De Niro is a Methodist.
Do you think Harrison Ford was just talking about himself and they just threw it in there?
There's so many stupid little minutiae that separate the Protestant sects. At this time, I'm sure if someone said it, be like, oh yeah, I actually knew that. I don't know exactly what the Methodist
All right, so they're Protestants.
differentiates. Yes, they don't like the Pope. I'll tell you that much.
So Ricky immediately, the first thing he does when he has Jackie Robinson in his office is he starts hurling N-bombs at him and insulting him.
He's a Methodist.
What do you think of that, boy?
But it's an important scene.
Yeah, because he's
very important.
testing him.
Yeah.
It's the first shit test for him.
It's to see if he can take it.
And Jackie takes it.
Yes. Oh, he acts like a grown up.
Yeah. Then Jackie calls his girlfriend / wife.
Yes.
Who is a 10?
She's smoke show.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking smoke show. Who is that girl?
I don't know.
I don't know. She's gorgeous, though. I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
Can we Google this?
Who is that guy? It's George McFly.
What's her name? What else was she in? Because I don't think I've seen her before, but Classic Beauty
Yeah.
nailed it.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Like, wow.
Her
And that's what I kind of like about it, what I said before, like bring back the suits. Her in a suit alone, it's like drop dead gorgeous.
In a dress.
In a dress.
She's not wearing a suit.
It looked like a suit.
It's not a suit.
It's a dress. Okay, sorry.
Her name is Nicole Behair.
bee hair as in the beehive
Behair.
hairdo. She's named after the popular 60s hairdo.
Yes. Her ancestors invented it. So from there, Jackie calls his girl. They get married. Now, this is an inaccuracy because they were actually married before he had joined the war.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Wow.
they were married when he went off to war. So he was already married to her. Mm-hmm. They get on a bus.
Now,
well,
I read a little tidbit about this.
Okay.
Apparently, one of the reasons that of all the players they could have chosen, like from the Negro Leagues, partially why they chose him, believe it or not, is because he was married or about to be married, and they felt that would be more palpable and people wouldn't be worried about him going after white women with his new celebrity.
They wanted...
that is the world he was living in, you know?
They wanted the person... It had to be Jackie Robinson because they needed someone that could take all this shit. Mm-hmm. They needed someone that could project a family man image, and they needed someone that could play.
Yeah, who was that talented.
You had to have all three,
Which is why he's the guy.
which is why he's the guy.
Right. Yeah. Now, when we watch him play in the spring training stuff, because that's what they do, they bring him up to New York, and then he's like, "Oh, you're going to go to spring training, and if you're good enough, you're going to be on Montreal."
You have to do a season
Now,
in
that
the
is
minors.
the minor leagues, right? The Montreal stuff?
Yes. And I will tell you, Branch Rickey actually invented the farm system.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to explain that? Or
So basically,
I don't know what the farm system
so
means.
basically the way baseball works, and hockey too, and I don't know about basketball, definitely not football, but you have a bunch of players and you sign and draft them. And your big team owns a minor league team. And the purpose of your minor league team is to train and develop talent that you hope will one day come up and play in the majors. Mm-hmm. And this is important due to injuries, and really you're just hoping that you can develop stars. And it's a farm system. You know, Staten Island Yankees were a farm system for the Yankees.
So the Montreal Monarchs, as they are in the movie,
Yes.
they are the minor league team affiliated with the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yes.
I see.
Okay.
So the Dodgers own them, and if you play well in the Dodgers, they could,
If you play in Montreal, you go to the Dodgers.
in theory, and you play well, they could call you up.
Which
yes.
is what happens to him.
Exactly.
Right. And if you look at all these spring training games, he does nothing wrong. That's part of the ridiculousness of this movie. Like, you would think he is the greatest player who's ever lived. He is God, essentially, on the field. He hits nothing but home runs. He fields like a superhuman. He
steals everything.
He steals everything. He steals home.
He does steal home. He did it in the World Series.
For game one, right?
I think game one, yeah. And I was a little annoyed.
They didn't win in 47.
No, they didn't. They didn't win, I think, until 55 or 56.
And he'd been on the team that whole time.
Yeah, he was on the Dodgers his whole career.
But he kept them in the playoffs and all that.
Yeah, like the Dodgers were a perennial contender.
And I just want to be clear, like baseball at this time, there are no teams west of St. Louis, right?
No. The Dodgers are the team that starts
go
the West Coast movement.
Right.
Because Walter O'Malley, he figured he could corner that market and saw an emerging market. And
the technology had advanced where it's even possible.
Exactly. And you also have to realize why baseball is important at this time. And like for us looking at this, we live in an age of mass entertainment and mass media.
All the time.
All the time. And you have so many options with sports, everything. Back then, you don't have
The one constant is baseball.
exactly. That's what you got. And if you want entertainment every night, you need baseball because you have to be able to turn on a radio.
You're from the 60s.
Yeah. And you're, eventually a TV, but at this time a radio, and that's your entertainment, listening to a baseball game. And that's what you got.
Right.
Or you can go to a game if you're lucky enough.
The American pastime.
And that's really what it is. It's the pastime because you need something to do all the time because our society had progressed to a point where you don't need to work, 1 million hours a day to live.
People have leisure time.
Exactly. And you have to fill it because if you don't,
Well, then bad
things happen.
What is it? Idle hands?
Idle hands are the devil's tools. I'm a Methodist. I know that.
Yeah, don't quote scripture to me. I know.
I'm going to talk like that all day.
Please, God, don't.
So that's why baseball is important at this time. And that's why this is really such a cultural shift. Because throughout the whole country, every time you're listening to a game, even if you're not seeing it, you're hearing about the Negro player in the league. And that's a big change. We see at J.C. Penney's, him and his wife, they try to board a airplane.
Yes.
And they're thrown off because his wife
goes in the whites only
in the whites only bathroom. And they're in the South. They have to take a Greyhound bus to spring training.
Now, I want to talk about this for a second.
Greyhound's that old, huh? Damn.
Is Jackie Robinson getting preferred special treatment at this point? He's getting his own house to live in. He's not with the team. He has a butler, essentially, a chauffeur. No other player has this. Now, is that all real?
He did have that
guy?
That writer is a real dude.
I know that guy's a real guy. He used to be a ball player, actually.
Yes.
And he was a pitcher, and he threw not a perfect game, but like a no-hitter. And there was a scout watching him, and he said, "I wish I could sign you, but unfortunately, you know how things are. I'm not going to be able to." And from that moment on, that guy wanted to dedicate his life to making integration happen.
Yeah.
And he actually is the man who recommended Jackie Robinson to Branch Rickey.
Yep.
He put the name in his head.
He knew this is the guy. 100%.
What is his name?
Oh, fuck.
That's a name we need to know.
Realistically, he's the one who should be in a Hall of Fame or museum somewhere because it sounds like it's because of him.
He is.
Oh, he is.
Smith. It's something.
Wendell Smith.
Wendell Smith. Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah, important dude.
Yeah, he's actually very important to this story. So then they pull up in a bus in front of a J.C. Penney's, which, do they still exist?
J.C. Penney? Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Briefly.
I bought my wife a anklet there.
Oh, nice.
Like an ankle bracelet?
Yes.
Oh.
To chain her to the bed so she
is that what
can't
you
leave
do?
the house.
Yes.
So the Wendell Smith now meets Jackie Robinson, and he's asking him a bunch of questions trying to prep him. And Jackie Robinson wants nothing to do with him. He wants to play.
Yes.
And then
He wants no part of the press.
Exactly. And then the white sports reporters start asking him the same questions.
Right.
And he looks back and he's like, "You did prepare me." And I love this. "What will you do if they'll throw at you?" And what does he say?
Duck.
"I'll duck."
Yeah.
Which is great. That's a good answer.
Yes. But the reporter says a line that is reoccurring throughout the entire movie, right?
Is it an N-bomb?
It's an N-bomb. It's N-bombs
So
left.
many
There
N-bombs.
was so many in this. It was just at one point, there's too many when it stops getting uncomfortable, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this makes sense." No, he says he's gonna throw it in slow or something like that, right?
Yeah, they're gonna the question will come at you slow.
They'll come at you slow. Yep.
Yeah.
And then fast.
I like that. That was nice.
So the manager drops an N-bomb. Christopher Maloney, right?
Oh, Law and Order.
Law and Order, yeah.
Yep.
And Branch Rickey is like, you got to cut that shit out. You can't do it. Mm-hmm. Jackie is walked in his first at bat and then steals 2 bases.
Yes.
And it's so whimsical. The
Yes.
music is so jaunty and whimsical.
Yes. It's like, all right.
And I will say, like, you want to see him
The
struggle.
little kid
Well,
is the worst actor ever.
The 2 little kids they show are horrible.
Yes.
Him and the white racist
Yes.
boy.
Yes.
They're both so
Yes.
bad. Now,
Please, God, let them show us what we can do.
them what we can do.
Like, oh,
look, but you
I
know
get
what?
it.
He's a
I
little
get it.
kid,
Right.
so it's like
He's actually
whatever.
playing a real person.
He is.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about him in a second. But like you said, they never show Jackie struggling as far as being a player.
Yeah, it's almost
Yeah.
as if he's perfect. And I think that's what Beaver's talking about, kind of.
Yes.
Like the movie
You want to see him on a
the movie
slump.
almost makes his
Yeah.
journey too easy.
It's boring, yeah.
You want to see him on a slump, and you want to see him struggle.
Right.
But I understand that they're not worried about that in this story,
Right.
and they're not focused on his physical struggles. It's the emotional toll, and I understand that you could do that perspective.
Right, but even the emotional toll should have an effect on his playing. And
It did though.
not where it makes him struggle. Because
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does. In the one
Not
year.
really.
The one scene. Yep.
there's only one scene, but he comes right back and it's fine.
Well, because his player stood up for him, and it gave him the strength.
Right. And at that point,
But that didn't really I didn't feel the struggle. It was just like, yeah, he kind of lost it for a second, which makes sense. It's a physical thing. It's a mental thing, excuse me. But it wasn't enough to make it interesting.
I will say this about the movie and how it portrays it. You have at different points in this movie stadiums full of people booing, jeering, yelling horrible shit at him, that would obviously be intimidating to any human being.
Yes.
And that never breaks him, or it never even falters. He's still kicking ass through all of that. The one time he gets upset is from one guy just name calling him over and over again. That is the only time we ever see him emotionally struggle in the movie.
And the creators caught shit for that moment.
Really?
Because it made him a human being?
Yes.
Yeah.
The people were.
Yeah,
I swear, people were upset that they showed him breaking and having that problem.
Now, was that based on a real moment that happened?
That happened, and
he broke.
I actually saw a video because I wanted to learn some stuff, and I saw that the movie makers invented that moment where he
breaking
where he
moment.
smashes the bat in the dugout.
Well,
not the
let's
dugout, the
wait till we get
alleyway.
there.
Okay.
So the next thing that happens is it's spring training. He steals bases. It's magical. And then Wendell Smith gets a call. Well, a racist man shows up and he's like, we're going to kill Jackie, basically.
The sheriff?
It's someone.
It was a random old guy
It's a
from the
random
town.
old
Oh, when they're
guy.
at the house.
Yeah.
Jackie's sleeping.
And they got to get him out.
And he's staying with a family, and this guy Wendell Smith, and the father of the family, and this guy is sitting on the porch. Yeah, and an old white guy comes over and is like, "You better get him out of here." He's trying to be intimidating. He's not warning. I guess he is warning them, but he's trying to be intimidating and be like, "We don't want him around here," and he's implying the Klan is going to come and lynch him.
Exactly. So Wendell Smith gets him in the car and they drive off. And Jackie.
Under orders from Branch Rickey.
Yes. And Jackie thought he was cut.
Yeah.
And he was very upset, and he was relieved when he found out it was only a possible hate crime.
We're just fleeing from a lynch mob.
No, at least I'm still on the team.
And then there's that tense moment where they swerve around the car.
Yeah, they swerve around a car. It's very brief.
Yeah.
Then they're back in spring training, and a racist cop shows up.
Right, the sheriff.
The sheriff. And he's like, you're not allowed to play. This is against decency laws, blah, blah, blah. And that's a big thing.
And sure enough, he doesn't play. He actually leaves.
And they lose
Yeah.
2-1.
Isn't that amazing? He's in the middle of a fucking game, and he's got to stop
out.
playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you focus more on that type of stuff. That's fucking wrong. That's fucked up. It's not name calling,
Yeah, that's
It's real world consequences.
that you may be arrested.
And I think the movie needed to be it needed to show more of that type of stuff.
Agreed.
It
Would have hit
there,
harder, yeah.
But they really focus on name calling.
Yeah. Well, this was made in the 2010s, and that's the single worst thing you could do is hurt someone's feelings.
You're right.
And one of the best scenes, I think, in the movie come right after this, which they're walking down the block and a white man crosses the street to talk to him and his wife.
Yeah, and it's a Southern guy, and you think it's going to be really bad.
And he gets his wife to stand behind me, and he goes, "We're rooting for you.
Yeah,
there's a lot of us like me who want you to do good."
And
I was like, "Wow, I actually like that scene."
It was a great scene because it shows that the majority of people, the common man, want what's right. They can see a rat, and they want the right change to happen.
He gets on Montreal, and this is true. Jackie Robinson hit a home run in his first at bat.
That's great.
Which is pretty fucking nuts, right?
It's impressive.
Yeah. You need things like that.
And they show that in the movie, and I was like, when I saw the movie, I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And he looked it up and like, oh no, this is real.
Oh no, that happened. So real quick, this is something that's a little funny to me. The Mets there's a couple of years ago. Do you remember when baseball started signing a bunch of Japanese players? The Yankees had a big
Hideki Matsui.
Yeah.
So do you remember the Mets had their own Matsui?
No.
Kazuki Matsui or Kazuki. Mm-hmm. And he was going to be the next guy. Mm-hmm. And his first at bat on his first pitch blasted a home run for the Mets.
Wow.
And I was like, here we go. This is the fucking GOAT. He was not the GOAT. And that's all I could think when a guy hits a home run at his first pitch. I'm like, Kazuki.
You know you're a Met fan when you see something like that and you just get disappointment in your soul.
I just get PTSD.
It's like Mark Sanchez going to the playoffs over and over again. And then not.
You really just wanted to ruin my night, huh?
I like getting you going on this stuff. You know I do.
I know.
It's one of my favorite things to do with Brian. I bring up like sports shit. Because I don't know a lot about sports. But I know like certain moments that get Brian fucking going.
You know he cares so much about this.
I've watched
you
him
love shooting it down.
I watched him have a mental breakdown in front of my. You were there. We filmed it.
Yeah.
That was when they lost in the playoffs to the Steelers, right?
The Jets, yeah.
Do you remember what I said?
You said a lot.
They'll never win in your lifetime. You said.
But do you remember how long I said they would miss the playoffs for?
How long?
I said it was going to be over a decade before they made the playoffs again.
Were you correct?
They haven't made the playoffs. I remember I was devastated when they lost that fucking game. Oh, man.
So fucking funny.
I was dead inside. You're bringing back painful memories. So then Jackie Robinson as a kid. Mm-hmm. Leo DeRocha.
That's the kid's name?
No, Leo DeRocha is the manager.
Oh.
He's the manager of the Dodgers, Christopher Maloney. So he gets...
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about this.
He gets thrown out. He gets banned from baseball.
For being a man whore.
Now, they say that it is the CYO, the Catholic Youth Organization, that does it.
That pressures baseball to get rid of him.
Yeah. Now, this is a little bit of bullshit.
Oh, really? What, they want to besmirch the Catholics?
That was a part of it.
There is only one God, the Methodist God.
He's the one just pulling the strings.
The movie funded by the American
Methodist Church.
Yeah. AMC, American Methodist Church.
We don't like saints. Get them out of here.
So he actually was also consorting with mobsters.
Oh.
And
why didn't they include that?
I think they just wanted the simplest explanation, and they didn't want to
give you
have
a couple of reasons.
It's not that important to carry. They just need to get rid of him.
Yeah, well, he is important because he's the first manager to rally the team around
threatens
Jackie.
the team.
He threatens the team on behalf of Branch Rickey.
Right. The team starts a petition.
Well, let's skip.
Yeah.
So he has a great season with Montreal. The next season happens, and he's on the Dodgers.
Right.
And they do their spring training down in Panama, so Jackie will not have the hassle of
the American South.
The American South. Mm-hmm. And the team is in a hotel, and the kid from Luck of the Irish, the Disney movie about a leprechaun, passes around a racist petition. You know the movie I'm talking about, right?
No.
Yes.
You know.
I do.
Did you know that was him?
No. I think there was two of those.
Yeah, I think they did do a
I think
second one. By the way, that's the best Disney Channel original movie, Luck of the
Luck
Irish.
of the Irish.
It's about a boy who becomes a leprechaun.
He's part leprechaun.
He's part
like it's in his family.
Oh.
And then he finds out.
No, he's pretty tall,
No,
but he
he's
becomes
regular,
a leprechaun.
yeah.
The Luck of the Irish kid passes around a racist petition saying that the Dodgers will not play with Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
Branch Rickey calls up Christopher Maloney, Leo DeRocha, and is like, nip this in the bud.
Yes.
Stop this. And he yells at the team and chews them all out.
Yes. In his underwear.
And he's in his underwear yelling at them, and he was...
What's the whole thing where Branch Rickey keeps calling that guy in the middle of the night and nobody else?
He's the manager.
I understand that, but it doesn't happen to anyone else, and they do it to him several times. It's like a running gag. Like, I'm calling you at 4 a.m.
I think because Leo DeRocha is the first guy to, like, accept Jackie.
That's not why. It's just a gimmick in the movie.
It is, but he didn't call the
Sir,
other
we're the
manager.
only two people
Yeah.
awake right now,
Yes.
probably on this island. Isthmus. So go wake him up and tell him. I just feel like he's shaking constantly. I don't know.
I like your impression is almost like the Gungan King from episode 1.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You suck at the bongo.
Because that's what he sounds like.
Core.
It's exactly what he sounds like. It sounds like his head is violently shaking when he speaks.
Boss Ness.
Boss Nass, yes.
By the way, for the record, Jar Jar Binks is my favorite Star Wars character.
For the record, Jar Jar
Write
Binks
that
is the
down.
best Star Wars
Write that
character.
down,
Yeah,
everybody.
I don't care about your favorite. He's the best, period. End of story.
I agree.
He has double organ. For those that don't know, Jar Jar Binks in lore, in Star Wars lore, has a penis and a vagina. He's a double organ.
Yeah, Google that. Look that up. But type in Jar Jar Binks double organ. Or Jar Jar Binks penis and vagina. Do it on your work computer. Yeah. I would love for someone to get fired because they're on their work computer. They get called into the boss's office. What is this? And it's just a stack of like Google images of like Jar Jar Binks eroticism.
Which does exist.
It exists.
Oh, I know it
It
exists.
exists in a copious amount. The only reply you say to that is, it's the best Star Wars character.
You know what Jar Jar Binks...
Why are you looking at this? He's the best.
He's the best character. Why wouldn't I?
Do you know what Jar Jar Binks said after eating pussy?
What?
My tongue is numb. That was a good joke,
Oh,
right?
shit.
How did we get here?
I don't know. What website is that on? Which one? Details.
So Leo DeRocha is consorting with the mob and banging actresses. He gets shit canned, and they replace him with a guy who looks like
A guy of no consequence. The new manager comes in and they make this big scene about how, well, Branch Rickey begs him to join, like he's essential. But I guess it's just because he has nobody else to go to. He joins up, and then they have this scene where he goes to the locker room and he gives a speech to them, and they all hate him immediately, and he gives this weak... It's like, it's meant to make you feel like he's worthless.
Yeah.
But it adds nothing to the film because you think it's going to be like an aspect of the rest
Nothing
of the
came
movie,
from it.
and nothing happens.
He's
with
weak.
this.
It was just-
But is he? We don't know.
he's just portrayed like kind of like as a weak manager. I thought that's
He's definitely like the whole manager thing. Like they had multiple scenes with these managers. The other guy too, the one that just got fired, and they're irrelevant to the story.
There's only one relevance in the entire part, and it's during spring training.
It's when he yells at them.
And that was it.
That's it.
That was it. It seems like actual baseball.
It's like, why is this in the movie?
I don't know. They could have cut it out. Maybe they just needed a couple of extra minutes. Who knows? Because nothing happens after that.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you even see him again?
He's like in the background.
Like
He's
yeah,
just
he never
sitting next
speaks,
to
right?
them. Yeah, he doesn't.
yeah, he's just there, looking like an old dude. Anyway, so now it's April 15th. It's the first day of Jackie Robinson's playing career. He has broken the color barrier for baseball, and John C. McGinley is
the Firefly guy.
No, John C. McGinley is the dude from Platoon. Bunny? Not Bunny.
Bunny?
Not Bunny. What's his name in Platoon? I don't know.
Oh, that guy. He's in. Oh, right. He's the announcer.
Yeah, he's the announcer.
Yeah.
And in every sport,
I got a bad feeling about this one, guys.
the sports announcer in any movie is such an important role.
Yes.
Because he has to communicate everything to the audience.
Does great 1940s like slang and shit.
Yeah.
He's good.
I love John C. McGinley. He's such a good actor. So he plays for a while, Jackie Robinson, and now we get to the worst city in America.
Philadelphia?
Philadelphia. The biggest shithole in the country. I hate Philadelphia.
You do?
Hate it. Well, I'm a Mets and Devils fan.
Do you hate it because you actually hate the city, or do you hate it because it's like sports?
Do you hate hoagies?
I like
You hate the water?
Yeah.
I like cheesesteaks.
Yeah, you like the cheesesteaks.
But I don't like Philly. To be fair, I don't like New York either. I think New York's a rat-infested shithole,
Do you
too.
like bagels?
Bagels? You're like making my skin crawl.
We gotta go down to Wawa, have a hoagie.
Philadelphia
You're
is
doing
just...
a really good accent.
Thank you.
Well, you're there all the time, right?
I work with a lot of Philly people.
John,
I
you're
never
going to
heard
say
you
John?
do that.
They say John, they go to the Delaware Water Gap. They look at the water.
We might have people from Philly listening,
'em.
and if you are,
You know
I
how they
apologize
say
for
crayon?
Brian.
I
but
don't
also-
apologize. Fuck
but
you.
also, I really want to know, is Ant's impression good?
Do you know what they call
A
crayons
simple
in
yes or
Philly?
no. No.
Crowns.
Crowns?
Crowns.
Like they say, like crowns.
Yeah. And it's just they're saying crayons. It's just the
it's
accent's
accent.
crowns.
And it's so close to here. It's not like it's far.
Well, the Northeast has a great array of accents. If you want to talk about it for a minute, let's talk about Boston or Maine, or
Maine's a little more subtle, though.
no. My cousin's wife is from Maine, and I met her parents, and they say lobsters.
Lobsters?
Lobsters.
That sounds a little bit like Boston, though,
It's
no?
similar.
It's very
right?
similar,
similar.
yeah. It's all that New England.
It's not as heavy.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, now that we got Brian's
Way off
anger
topic.
out,
No, so Philadelphia is known for having the worst sports fans in the entire country.
Not just sports, but just fans in general. When they go to events, they are purposely aggressive and violent.
They're just like animals.
They have a prison in the football stadium.
They did, yeah.
Yes.
Or they may
Wow.
still do, yeah. They used to have in where the Eagles played like a judge on standby because they would just be arresting so many people at the gates.
Wow.
It's
Why?
like you
It's
just
just like tradition.
It's the way
there.
it is?
The fans just are animals. And what's it called? You remember the famous Bill Burr thing?
with the Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Burr was doing a show it was like part of the Opie and Anthony thing. And the crowd, before he even opened his mouth to speak, was already murdering him, booing, going crazy. And he just gave up on doing his set and decided to just bash Philly for 10 minutes. And like getting deep into it and like going to all their iconic stuff like Ben Franklin's and shit like that. And by the end of it, they respected him.
yeah,
And
aggressive people respect aggressive people.
Yeah, he won them over by just destroying Philly.
yeah.
I think that's kind of what made him a name, too.
Yeah, it was like a turning point in
really?
his career.
Yeah. Anyway, so
great.
Alan Tudyk. Now it's the scene we all want to talk about.
Yeah.
Alan
The
Tudyk.
guy from Firefly.
The guy from Firefly. Amazing voiceover artist. Had to
What
get
is some of his work?
everything. Like, he's a voiceover artist in everything.
Oh, yeah?
Like, he'll just voice like a chicken in something.
He plays a great Southern racist here.
Yeah. So he's a real guy. This is a true story. This happened. And he just... It had to be such an uncomfortable role to get cast for.
Well, yeah, you're just screaming the N-bomb at one man for 20 minutes.
And he probably had to do multiple takes.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
You know, so
Either that or he loved it. He really got into the role.
I've always wanted to do this. Like, he's cracking his knuckles.
he gets to
And the wind-up.
set early. Here to practice my
day
lines.
Big day today. Hey, Chadwick. Hey, I just want to practice with you a little bit. You mind before we start rolling today.
We don't have to
excited.
film for 2.5 hours.
Alan, you start shooting next week. Yeah, but I just really want to like get this out.
You know, I feel like my character's got a lot to say, and I want to say it right. You know?
Now, should I hold out the hard R for an extra second or two? Like, how does this sound?
Maybe I'll put an A at the end for a few of them. You know, we'll make it fun.
We'll play with it.
How about this? And he takes the scripts and ramps it up. I'm going to improv. I'll do this one from the heart. I love that we've turned him into a monstrous race. Alan Tudyk is just holding this inside all the time. Like he's walking down the street.
Chance.
He's walking down the street just grumbling all the time. Oh boy, I better get to play a racist soon or I'm going to lose my shit.
I might just blow my top.
Gets all emotional between takes.
Chad, can I call you
everything
Chad?
I wanted.
I got something else I'd like to call you, but I'll hold off on that till you know the cameras are in front.
You give him like a slight Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So he just
That's
brutally,
so funny.
verbally harasses Jackie, who can't say or do anything about it.
Yes.
And the players are getting upset.
And he's playing a man named Ben Chapman.
Ben Chapman.
And after this, well, spoilers for the end of the movie, they say he never manages again.
Well,
This is his last season.
Is it? He gets fired at this season?
He gets fired at the end of this season.
Oh.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know. Is it for racism?
Because they lost. I don't know.
The possibility is that it's racism, but I tend to believe it's because he finished 30 games under 500.
That'll do it.
So who the fuck would want to hire you? If they won the World Series, he'd be managing.
That'll do it.
That's the bottom line in sports. You could say or do anything as long as you win. You know?
Like Sean Avery.
He didn't win. He's a fucking loser.
The great Sean Avery.
Don't say that. Don't say
He's
that.
one of the finest
I want to punch
hockey
you.
players ever.
I want to punch you in the fucking mouth so bad. He's just a horrible person. He beats up homeless people for no
Beat
reason.
them up. He abused them.
Oh, sorry. So much better. He's one of the biggest pieces of shit ever in sports.
Didn't he have sex with someone's wife?
So,
Sean Avery is a New York Ranger from years ago.
yeah.
I don't think Brian likes the guy.
So there's an actress,
Olivia Newton-John.
yeah, Elijah or Lisa Cuthbert.
Eliza Cuthbert.
Cuthbert. She played in The Girl Next Door. She was
Smoke show.
she was dating Sean Avery.
Also a smoke show.
Sean Avery.
Any relation to Tex Avery?
Yeah. He's an animator on the side. And she started dating another player, and then he started like talking about how the player had his sloppy seconds, and it became a thing. I think they got married, actually, her and the other guy. But
Yeah, good for them.
anyway, so Alan Tudyk
Many
is
dicks?
two dicks.
It's like Jar Jar.
Yeah,
Comes full circle.
he's actually going to play Jar Jar in the new Jar Jar Binks Disney Plus
The Obi-Wan
series.
show. He's going to be on the Obi-Wan show. It's Jar Jar. He's got 2 dicks. Double organ.
Misa got something for you. It's a big and you.
It's called the Double Saga. All right.
So Alan Tudyk says horrible, horrible shit, and we see Jackie Robinson rage in a tunnel and break a bat.
He breaks the bat. So I saw that the filmmakers added this scene. It is fiction.
Yes.
He never actually went and raged out.
It's a fiction.
Never broke
Never
the bat.
happened.
Never broke the bat.
That's
We made it up.
Riker. What do you want to be when you grow up? So yeah, he's raging out in the hallway there, and they added that because they needed to show him being that they did get to him. That's like why they put it in the movie. But Mrs. Robinson, who was
Cuckoo, cuckoo, Mrs. Robinson.
okay, Brian just took 2 different songs. He took
Yep.
Mrs. Robinson and I Am the Walrus.
Yes.
and he put them
No,
together.
he says cuckoo, cuckoo, Mrs.
Oh, you're right, he did,
Robinson.
he did.
Fuck you. I want an apology.
Isn't
sorry.
it here's to you, Mrs. Robinson?
Yes, but there is like one point where he just goes
Cuckoo,
cuckoo.
cuckoo,
Brian is correct.
Mrs. Robinson.
I don't know why. I don't know why he
picked the
chose
obscure
the
one.
one
Yeah, he picked the
line
obscure one,
instead
but-
of the more popular and
Yeah.
said one.
That's the line that I always remember. Don't test me on my Simon and Garfunkel. I'm a big Garfunkel fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you name one Garfunkel solo song?
Yeah, Gondola on Venice.
He may be making that up. Do you think?
I'm not making that up.
You know what? With him, it's possible, but
Gondola on Venice.
on Venice, he's probably saying it wrong, but like he's probably has the right idea.
I made it up. It's fiction. It's fiction. It never happened. I am a Paul Simon fan, though. I do like Paul Simon.
But you don't like Garfunkel.
Does anybody?
Does anybody? Yeah.
It's a joke on Flight of the Conchords.
She calls it Garfunkling. Yeah, so they added that, but Mrs. Robinson, Jackie's widow, was still alive when this movie came out,
Yes.
and she liked the scene. So it has the seal of approval from the Jackson estate.
And you know,
Robinson.
And you know
Not
what?
Mr. October.
Like, there were probably moments that it probably didn't happen in a dugout, but there were probably moments where he was upset.
I'm sure, yeah.
You know, how could it not?
How could it not?
So then Alan Two Dicks.
Oh.
Yeah. Ben Chapman is forced to take a picture with Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson has stated in interviews after the fact that was the hardest thing that he ever had to do was take that photo with that guy. He just hated that guy so much.
Yup. Hated his guts.
Yeah.
And Branch Rickey actually says Ben Chapman is one of the best things to ever happen to the
He
Dodgers.
said he united the team.
Yup.
Because they didn't like to see what he was doing to him, and they didn't want to see a guy take that kind of shit without being able to fight
Yup.
back.
It's like, even if they didn't like Jackie Robinson, it's like he can't defend himself.
He's one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say that in the movie.
They do
That's
say
like
it in the
direct
movie,
line.
but that is real.
That's how they
He
felt.
did us a favor by being such a piece of shit.
So now they start trading racist players to Pittsburgh.
Is that real?
Now, they did trade players to
Just the one
Pittsburgh.
guy, right?
They did trade a couple of players to Pittsburgh, but do you know why Pittsburgh is used as a punchline?
No.
So the reason Pittsburgh is a punchline, and Pittsburgh, by the way, is one of my favorite cities in the country.
Unlike its counterpart in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Unlike that rat-infested shithole, Philadelphia, I love Pittsburgh. One of my favorite cities in the country. But Pittsburgh at the time is still heavily... Steve is like cringing.
I have so much to say when this mic's off. I have so much to
He's
say.
holding back.
Oh. So...
You know, I do that too sometimes. Me and Chadwick. I have a lot to say too.
Do you want to practice it together?
So Pittsburgh at the time is actually still heavily industrious. Like
Industrial.
thank you. And you know, they're steel mills and like
Yes.
coal mining.
It's the
And
former Andrew Carnegie Ground Zero.
it is known for some of the dirtiest air in the country. And you're living basically in black smog, and it's a shitty, horrible place to live. Which is why Pittsburgh is a punchline in the movie, I suspect. It's not said, but I suspect it's a little history dig.
Is it?
I think it might be. And I think that's why players wouldn't want to go to Pittsburgh at that time. Because you're not living in really a
they
great
just
area.
sucked.
I don't think they
That's
were
what
that
I
bad.
thought. I thought they,
Yeah,
maybe
I
they were
thought
just a
they
bad
just
team,
sucked.
and if people that know baseball know that.
I don't think they were that bad.
Because the guy keeps, when he gets ready to Pittsburgh!
Right. Like, why am I going here? Yeah.
Jackie is beamed in the head.
Yes.
He's fucked up, you
Is
know.
that by the German man?
Ostermuller.
Ostermuller.
Yes.
Ja, das
Now,
gut.
in real
they
life-
call him a Nazi.
In real life, Jackie was not beamed in the head.
He's beamed in the elbow
Yep.
because he put his arm up to block being beamed in the head.
Exactly.
I did some research.
Yep. He
That's
was
messed up.
he was beamed a
That-
total of 9 times that season.
Wow.
Which
So
is
why didn't they show that?
Which
Right.
Why didn't they show that?
I'll tell you this: that's light work because I'm a Mets fan and we've been beamed fucking every game this year almost already. We
They're
had,
not the same guy.
no, I'm pretty sure.
It's not like they're beaming the one guy on the team constantly.
Yeah, but I think a couple of players have been beamed multiple times. But the Mets have been hit by a pitch almost every game. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah,
Tell them to stop standing so close.
and then they could stop beaning our fucking guys too. But you know,
And when he gets spiked, I looked up that too. The guy, tramples his leg.
Yeah.
That guy claims that he did it to a lot of players. It wasn't like anything personal.
He's like, that's just how I played.
That's how I play.
I'm just a dirty player,
Yeah.
which I respect.
Yeah.
I respect dirty players. I do.
They're like, you're an asshole. You're racist. He's like, no, I'm just an asshole.
I'm just a piece of shit.
I just want to cripple
Wear
all my
that badge
opponents.
proudly. You know?
I'm garbage. I'm not racist.
So then,
Don't paint me with that brush.
so they
Color. If you're gonna color me anything, color me bad.
So then we get to Cincinnati, right? And Pee Wee
Ohio.
Oh.
Okay.
and Pee Wee Reese is there, and he is from there, and the crowd is booing Jackie Robinson, and this is the scene you mentioned earlier. He puts his arm around him in a show of solidarity and support.
And he's kind of like the local hero.
Yeah, he's from there.
Yeah.
Now this
Little Anakin Skywalker, a local boy. More episode 1.
Sabula. Sabulba. Now that's
Little Annie.
baseball.
Little Annie.
Yippee!
That's Watto.
So
Number 2 best character.
So this thing, we don't know for sure. There's no actual photographs or record that he put his arm around Jackie like this.
Oh, yeah?
No one is sure if that actually happened or he just went over and
stood
spoke
next
with
to
him.
him?
Yeah, no one actually knows for sure. So then Jackie Robinson is changing, and a homosexual player comes up to him and asks to shower with him.
Now, I want to talk about this scene. Yeah, it's played for laughs that the guy comes over and he's like, well, come shower with us. You know, because Jackie didn't want to go in the shower because he felt like it might make other people uncomfortable because he's black.
Yeah.
And
The guy's like, I
The
just
guy's
want to
like,
see your dick.
just do it. You know, the guy comes over and asks him to join them because now he's part of the
You're
team.
a team. Yeah.
So he goes in the shower. Now, I don't know if you guys caught this, but I 100% was watching and I saw this happen.
A guy walks out.
No. He goes over, he walks through the shower, and they're all showering, and he goes up. The guy standing next to him in the background is drinking a Budweiser while he's showering, turns and looks at his cock. He views his cock as he walks over.
I did not pick up.
This is in
No,
the
I
movie.
didn't see that.
The guy takes a swig of his Bud in the shower and gives a nice fucking gaze right at that dick. He wants to see
He did
it.
a spit take.
Yeah.
He never saw a double organ before. Jackie unzips. It's actually Jar Jar.
Slipping on the water.
The soap's going
Soap's going
everywhere.
Double organ is hysterical.
There's always a bigger fish. There's always a bigger dick.
Tell me about it. It's a lot of characters in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it's a little hard to keep up.
This is a fun one, though. So, yeah, that guy wants to see his dick so bad, right?
But it wasn't even that guy who does look at
But,
his
like,
dick.
it's weird.
It's a weird scene.
Yeah. So then Jackie is spiked, as you mentioned. The Dodgers end up winning the pennant,
Yes.
and they make it look like Jackie Robinson hit the game-winning home run, which he did not.
Who did?
They did not. It doesn't matter. He hit a home run in the first inning of a game that they needed to win in order to have a chance to win the next night. So that game they show is a slight bullshit. And I think that the defining thing in Jackie Robinson's career, other than breaking the color barrier, is stealing home base in the World Series. And I think it's a mistake that they start the movie with him stealing home base
They don't
in the
end it.
Negro Leagues.
And never show
And
it.
you don't cap it with his biggest moment.
The movie stops at the end of this season. It does not show the World Series.
Yeah.
Which, they didn't win it until what, 55? You said.
55, I believe.
Well, I mean, they should have warped. The movie should have ended with that. You know, go to the.
Do at least an homage. It doesn't even have to be like a World Series game. It's just end it with that
I get
happening.
the movie is less of a biopic and more about
America.
It's a feel-good
the
movie.
story. Yeah,
it's a feel-good.
the mythos.
It's
So-
not about the man, it's about the story.
Yeah.
You know, with a little glimpse of the man.
Which was what I was. That's why I was disappointed.
I could understand
You know?
that. Like I said, I had seen the movie and forgot I ever saw it.
Yeah,
So
it's not setting the world on fire by any means.
No.
But it is not a bad movie.
it's a totally fine movie.
Yeah,
It gave us a great character that we're probably going to save for the rest of our lives. Harrison Ford. Like I'm going to be doing that a lot. I'm just letting you know.
So real quick, could I say something about baseball?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a reason why I love baseball so much. And it's because it is the quintessential American sport. There is no other sport on the planet that sums up the beliefs of the country and what the country is all about quite like baseball. And until recently, when they started to fuck with the rules, which I won't get into, baseball was founded on the principle that everybody has a chance. You can be down by 10 runs in the 9th inning and you have a chance. There's no time limit. There's no sitting on things. No matter how shitty things get in baseball, you always have a chance to win at the end of the game. You may succeed and you may fail, but that chance is presented to you. And it's not like in other sports, like for example in football, I can keep the ball away from you and you will never get a chance to score and win. In baseball, you will get your chance to win, and what you do with it is ultimately up to you and your team.
That's an interesting perspective.
And I think that it ties into the American, beliefs at its core. Yeah, you will get your chance. You may succeed, you may fail, but that chance will always be there.
Is there.
And especially when you and this is for all American sports, but when you compare it to the Euro style of sports, which is a classes system, because in Europe, not every team has a chance to win every year because they send you down and they relegate you to lower levels and lower leagues. And they tier you and they put you in classes. And it's a more European way to view things. Whereas America, we have our one league with all our team and everybody's equal and you all have a chance to win or succeed. And obviously there's some shitty situations, there's good situations, and it's whatever. But any given year, any given game, you can find a way to win. And that is one of the things I really love about baseball is the quintessential American sport.
But Brian, that was beautifully said.
Very well said. Very well said.
And it's something that I'm passionate about, and it's one of the reasons I really love the sport.
I've fallen asleep at 2 live baseball games. I am not exaggerating. I went to a Yankee game. I fell asleep. I went to a Mets game. I fell asleep. I could have got killed if a foul ball. No, not biased to the team. It's just the sport itself, as beautiful as that was. I can't take that away from you. That is actually a really good point, and I can see why you would love that. That's really good because other sports, you're right. It's not the same.
Okay.
But
Brian,
what about that drawing?
Brian has handed me his notebook, as he does every episode. I am now left to interpret this drawing.
All right.
What has he done? There appears to be. It looks like I don't know what this is. This is.
You can't make it out.
Is it Marge Simpson? Marge Simpson with a ball sack hanging between her legs.
What?
Is throwing a baseball. I recognize a baseball is in the air.
Yeah.
And then it looks like someone with a shield is trying to block it. Right?
That's Jackie Robinson swinging the bat.
That's a bat?
That's the best I could do.
This is horrendous. This is your worst one yet.
That's the worst one?
Yeah.
I actually thought that was one of my better ones.
Beaver, you got to see this.
I usually don't look at them. All right, I'll take a look at this. I'll take it.
His silence
That is
kind of damning.
wow. Okay. Your interpretation was way different. Is that a baseball? Because
Maybe it's like a Goku Kamehameha.
one person is holding up a shield.
That's a shield.
That's a shield.
Yeah.
That's 100% shield forward, but their face is mangled. So
Their
it ain't
face
working.
is like worms. It looks like Tangler, the Pokemon.
And the person that seems to be throwing what it looks like a baseball, but it's not really, has a ball sack.
Yeah.
And has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 appendages. 6 appendages.
Double organ.
Yeah. And their head is half a circle. It's cut off. And it seems like it might be a hat, but it's floating. It looks like the hands are holding up the head. It looks it looks like Elden Ring. It looks like a monster from Elden Ring. This is an Elden Ring fight.
Well, that's the pitcher and his leg is up in the air because he just threw the ball.
Oh, that's a mound?
That's a mound. That's a pitcher on a mound throwing the ball. And that's Jackie Robinson at the bat.
That explains it.
Now that you see that.
No.
All right. So does anybody have any closing thoughts? What would you give this movie, Tony?
5.
5 out of 10. Steve?
4.
Again, I am going to give it a nice 6. Totally fine, passable movie.
Yeah.
It's good. If you sat down with a little kid that didn't know nothing about Jackie Robinson,
They'd get more out of it than us.
they would understand this better. You know, and I think that's really who it's for. It's a family movie. Totally good, fine movie. Oh, the kid that they show, I did want to talk about him. He did not catch a ball from Jackie Robinson. The kid that they show in the movie.
Jackie Robinson throws him a ball in the movie.
Yes, that did not happen. However, he did listen to the train tracks.
That kid was Barack Obama.
No, he was a 1969 Met, Ed Charles. World Series Met. Yeah,
Wow.
comes full circle. Comes back to the Mets.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Also, that racist kid, horrible acting.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a
that was bad.
racist
That was
kid
bad.
who sees everybody else being racist and then joins in because it shows that.
But he's crying when he does
racism
it.
is learned.
He's crying like he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
The child acting in this movie was a little
Atrocious.
rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know they're kids, so you don't want to beat up on them too bad.
They're not professionals like me.
They're not method.
All right. So, any final thoughts, guys, or you want to get out of here?
I'm a classic actor. I've been acting for 40 plus years, and this is the best I can muster.
I've never seen Star Wars. All right, that's it.
All right, you want to say bye, guys? Bye.
Thank you for listening.
One quick final thing. Jackie Robinson, that rookie season, hit 297, which is a pretty damn good average. All right, so want to thank you all for listening. Want to give a big thank you to Tell 'em Steve Dave, Walt Flanagan, Get 'em for letting us record down in their studio. Come on down to Hazlitt, New Jersey. Visit TESD Town Studios. Visit Get 'em. Buy some merch. Take a tour of the studio. It's a beautiful place. Love it here. Definitely recommend checking it out. You could follow the podcast on all social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can send us an email at reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. If you're from Philly, I don't apologize, but feel free to chime in and let us know. Also, follow us on Letterboxd. All three of us have a Letterboxd where we rank the movies that we watch for the pod. I review every single movie I watch. My Letterboxd is at Brian Rupert. You could also follow me on Twitter at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. And thank you so very much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.
I am the P-Man!